Hi, I think I'm going to get started. Hi, Christine. Hi, Octavio. Hi, Audrey. Thank you for joining. I know some other people will be joining in a moment. So we're looking forward to sharing with you some information about study abroad. We're going to focus first on the 2 theater exchange programs that UIC offers, one at Aeolia in Barcelona, Spain. The other is at the National University of Ireland in Galway. You'll be hearing from Jason and myself about those programs, and we have a student testimonial talking about Aeolia for you. We'll be talking about just overview stuff about why you might want to go, and some real basics about how and when and all of that, how to apply if you don't already know. Then we're going to open it up to our friends from the Study Abroad office, who will introduce themselves in a moment, and they'll talk more broadly about how the Study Abroad office works, how the application process works, and they're also going to chime in a little bit about information about Barcelona and Galway, and then also maybe talk a little bit about other study abroad programs that are available and perhaps interesting to you as theater majors. So you do not have to do the exchange programs. You can do what are called other study abroad programs instead. But of course, the theater exchange programs are designed to serve our students. So it's our as in theater students. So it's particularly interesting for us to talk about Aeolia and the Galway program. If you would be so kind, I know we have somebody who can handle chats, but it might make most sense if you just hold your questions to the very end. Chances are good that they'll be answered in the course of our presentation, which will take about 45 to 50 minutes, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. So let me turn it over to Marley, if I may, Marley, and then Maggie from the Study Abroad office.
All right. Well, I wanted to introduce myself and then also share a little bit more about the rest of the Study Abroad team. So my name is Marley Stein. I'm the Associate Director. I advise for portfolio in Latin America and some parts of Europe, which is why I am the point person and the advisor for the Aeolia Exchange in Barcelona. So if you plan to go on that program, you'll be working with me along with the theater department as well. And then I also am the college liaison to a couple of other colleges. If you're in the honors college, you might work with me as well in that capacity. Irina Kromova is actually our college liaison to the theater department. So if you are going on a faculty directed program in the future on the based out of the theater program, you might work with her. And then she advises for our portfolios of programs in Asia, Africa, and Denmark. And then Kyle Rausch is our executive director. He oversees the strategic initiatives of the office and also has a small portfolio of advising as well. And then I'll turn it over to Maggie Miller to talk a bit more about her portfolio.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Maggie Miller. I'm the Study Abroad advisor in the office. I advise on programs located in the UK, Ireland, France, and Oceania. So I will be the advisor for the Galway program for next spring. And I also work with a couple other departments throughout the college as well.
Super. Well, thanks, everybody. I'm going to turn it over to Jason, who's going to start us off to talk about the Aeolia program in Barcelona.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for being here. And for those of you watching a recording, I hope this is useful to you. The Aeolia Conservatory is located in Barcelona, Spain, in the Catalonia region. And many of you may know students that come here in the fall on an exchange. They are a, sorry, bells and whistles in a shared apartment. We have a program with them. They are a conservatory. They're an acting conservatory. So that's why we generally advise a BFA program for them. That said, this year is new and different. Because of COVID, we have some exchange imbalances. And so it is open to both BFA and BA performers. It is not the best fit for designers. It is your credits transfer evenly. We have a course-to-course match. So whatever the acting course and voice course, and then there might be some ones that just have to be matched up, but basically it matches evenly your courses. And In general, that is true also financially. So it is an even tuition match, and that's, I think, really important. Some places have program fees, or there's a disparity, but this particular program is just you pay your tuition to UIC, and however we get our money to Galway, I'm sorry, not Galway, however we get our money to Barcelona, you don't have to worry about. The things you do have to worry about are transportation and housing. And those two, one of the reasons we do this in the spring is so that you have enough time to be able to, oh, there we go, look at that. You have enough time to be able to work over the summer, save your money. And Marley has some great information for you later about the kinds of amounts that you might be thinking about and timelines for making those applications. It is, we'll have a testimonial from Kevin Ross in just a moment. And I think, Tanner, have I covered enough basics? I feel like I'm leaving out something.
No,
Application deadline?
I think that's about right. Yeah, you can talk about the deadline if you would be so kind, because it's the same for the Galway.
The deadlines this year, we pushed back from what I initially published way back in February. So April 1st is our deadline. That's a Friday. April 1st is our deadline for your essays. These were sent out through email from the department, and also is posted on the call board. In that, we want some idea of what interests you about the program. We want to see that you've done some research, and also perhaps what you think you can contribute as well. Those are April 1st. In between there, we will read them, and then there's a faculty meeting before the 22nd of April, and on the 22nd of April, we will make our announcements. There are typically 4 slots for the spring, plus an alternate, and we can do an even number of spots for the fall. So we really, you can spread the word. There really is quite a bit of room to go to Aeolia this year. And we really want to push your interest in it. I think looking at the picture alone, the only thing you can't see there that you might need to know is the ocean, which is right behind you. So I think that's it. I can actually stick around a little bit further if we have any questions. Is now a good time for the testimonial from a student who's gone, Tanner? Is that in our? Great.
I think so, yeah. And I know Maggie helped us with the slides. I'm wondering if Maggie, does Study Abroad want to talk about broader Study Abroad things, or should we hear the testimonial first? Doesn't matter to me.
I think maybe just setting the stage in general for why studying abroad. There's definitely ones that are benefit specific to theater majors and acting majors, but there are some broader personal, professional, and academic benefits that we've heard from alumni, and I'm sure when we have our alumni testimonial video shortly, they'll have their own to speak on. But some personal benefits that students have told us about the benefit of going abroad is an increase in self-confidence, and I think within acting and theater, that's a really important skill to have. They're able to develop intercultural competency. So when you're entering into the workplace and you're working with and acting with a variety of individuals from all over the world, all over the US, it's important to have intercultural competency. So developing those communication skills, maybe not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, can only benefit you long term. Gaining direction and clarity to your goals. It's easy when you start college to be very confident in what your plans are, but this gives you kind of the space and time to reflect on your long-term goals and what might be the next steps in terms of your career, your academics. And then lastly, it's an opportunity to discover new interests and passions. Maybe the way you conduct your daily routine might shift based on learning about different cultural differences in both Ireland and Spain. Professional benefits, again, it's a way to develop transferable soft skills. So intercultural competency and confidence is one that I referenced before, but also employers are looking for people that are flexible, open to new experiences, opportunities. They're able to demonstrate leadership skills. These are all transferable and soft skills that you'll develop abroad, just based on the fact that there's a lot of unknown when you go abroad. We do our best to try to mitigate those unknowns, but navigating that helps prepare you for the future. And I think that all of these skills are especially applicable, and I can let my colleagues in the theater department tell you, to a career in acting and theater. And then expanding your professional network. So you all are very fortunate to be studying in a city with great connections in the theater world in Chicago, but going abroad will not only connect you with other US students from across the world, across the country that are studying abroad with you alongside you at Aeolia and Galway and other locations, but you're able to connect with people actually working in those fields on an international scale. You're going to have guest lectures. Your professors are going to be individuals who are also working in the theater industry. So that's a great way to expand your professional network. And if you do decide on one of our other programs to intern or conduct research abroad, that's going to give you a real world work experience to then share with a future employer and give you some perspective as you enter into your long-term career goals. Lastly, academic benefits. I think Jason did a great job of explaining this. You are not only earning UIC credit towards graduation, but you're earning UIC credit in your major. There's a direct relationship between the courses you're taking here at UIC and the ones abroad. So you have really nothing to worry about in terms of staying on track towards graduation. It's also a way to add international or comparative dimension to your degree, adding in this into your degree, having perspectives from others in different countries will help you understand alternative ideas and solutions to issues that might be within your discipline. So I will turn it over to, we already did Aeolia. And so we have a testimonial from Kevin Ross and Adam Laudon.
That's right. So I will just set this up a little bit to say, your presentation made me think of one important thing that I needed to add that maybe not all our students know, which is the Aeolia, though in Barcelona, is actually a very international program in and of itself. And so the language of instruction is English, or it's actually at least one of the languages of instruction. So that may ease some of your fears if you're not a Catalan or Spanish speaker. So that's worth noting. And also that you're going to have students from France, Italy, all throughout the European Union, actually as your peers. So that's worth noting. I'll go ahead and do a screen share. And this is just 4 minutes with some of you may know Kevin Ross. So share sound, always forget to do that. And here we go.
My name is Kevin Ross, one of the 6 students who went to Barcelona this previous semester. I don't know if I was introduced. I really wish I could have made it to this panel, but I got a job, and because of my study abroad experience, I'm just so hireable and busy. I'm kidding, but my study abroad experience was very, very, very valuable to me. I'll talk a little bit about Barcelona, the city itself first. The culture of Barcelona is really interesting, even compared to Spain as a whole. The Catalan language, Catalonian traditions are all very unique, very specific, and very fun. The food, fantastic. Love tapas. Well, Spanish food can be a little bland, but there's plenty of different foods. And it's a metropolitan city. It's very full of so many different European cultures, a lot of African influence, and the architecture is just phenomenal. Mind-blowing. It goes without saying, but you don't get things that old in the US. And also the ocean, mountains in sight, it beats flat land by a long shot. The class is there, such an amazing time. UIC sort of focuses really on the stage, right? That's what we do here, and I love it. But there are camera classes offered at Aeolia, and they're really, really fun. Got to work with some amazing people, got to do some amazing work in there, got to pull things from the screen that I've always wanted to do as opposed to the stage. I did a scene from the Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe, and I like often I giggle thinking about the sounds that were made as we chugged bottles of grog of water, but adult ed classes are really interesting too. They push your physical boundaries, your imaginative boundaries. A lot of the education there is very playful and different, and demands of you a freedom of person and a freedom of body that perhaps American tradition doesn't as much. It was really, really a great time. Plus, meeting the students was really great. Everyone's unique when you're studying abroad. As far as what was surprising, I mean, it's not really that surprising, but it was still really great. Travel, once you're within Europe, really cheap. You'll get some time off, right? You'll get some long weekends. I got to see so much more of Europe than just Spain while I was there, and a lot more of Barcelona when I was in Barcelona when I was in there. It was fantastic. There's so much art, so much food. Oh, the food. I feel changed by my experience. I went to Spain a different person than I came back. I'd never been away from home for that long, and I was a little scared of that. But being dropped into this new environment full of new ways and a language that I barely speak, and everyone speaks English, right? But still, pick up Spanish if you're going to live there. And I was put face to face with myself, and I ended up liking what I saw, and it was a really great place to do that. My art was able to grow and deepen because of my experiences there. And I miss it. I do. I've been thinking about it a lot as the weather gets better, and I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, if one of you go, just let me know. I'll come visit or something. I'm going on a little bit. In any case, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Tanara, Jason, and go if you have the chance, truly.
Yay, Kevin.
Well, that was a treat for Maggie and I know.
That was great.
I think that's it. I'll stick around for just another couple of minutes in case there are any questions, but I think actually Marley and I had a good conversation this morning. So there's any questions, and y'all can always follow up. I'm here. This is part of my job as co-acting head. So by all means, students, please just send your questions and get those applications. We really can use a lot of them.
Thank you, Jason. Marley, Maggie, do you want to add anything about Aeolia or Barcelona before we move on to Galway?
I will just say that Jason and I had a conversation about how to offer more resources and support for students who are choosing the exchange program option. Exchange program does require a little bit more independence of our students and requires them to do a lot of their own research and coordination, but that doesn't mean that you're alone and without assistance and support from both our office and the theater department. So as you're navigating the different requirements, you can always reach out to us with questions. We're currently going to gather resources. Housing is normally done independently, but we are going to gather some resources to help you find different apartments that you might consider living in, either with other international students who are living and studying in Barcelona or with your peers within the theater department. And then just so you all know, if you are going for a semester, there will be a requirement for a visa in Barcelona. This process requires you to be really on top of deadlines and available when we communicate to you what those deadlines are. But we'll assist you with that process, but you will be required to apply on your own. Thankfully, the Spain consulate is located in Chicago, so it's quite a simple process to go there and apply, and we'll be there to help you make sure that you meet all the requirements of that application.
Great, Marley. Thank you for, I'd like to go ahead and share my screen now. Oh, there's Galway, yay! All right, that's a great start. I'm gonna share mine now, if I may. So I'm talking to you all as the representative or liaison for the exchange program that we have, UIC Theatre has with the National University of Ireland in Galway. There it is, Galway's on the west coast of Ireland. That's Galway behind me. It's very close to the sea and it's a smallish town. It's a city, but on the smaller side, so you can get out of the city quickly and move to the beach if you want to. I'm trying to scroll down and having trouble doing so. Stand by, please. Get you out of the way. There we go. All right. I just have a few more pictures on the left here. Now we see the quad, one of the main buildings of the National University of Ireland in Galway. And there's me. That's what I have behind me. And there's a huge arts festival in Galway every July. It's a big draw, apparently. I mean, it's a national arts festival in Galway. So people come from all over the country. And a lot of folks often, when they study abroad in Galway in the spring, because that's when it is, spring semester, stay for some of the summer so that they can be there for the arts festival in July. So keep that in the back of your mind. Some major talking points for this exchange program. The National University is in fact that, so it has a global student profile. It's on the West Coast and it's in a small, as I said, place, but it attracts people from around the world and certainly around the country. The theater department there leans heavily on research and independent work, as well as created work, so heavy researched projects, a lot of writing and discussing. For that reason, it is geared towards our BA students. There are 2 slots for you every spring. We usually have 2 come from there to us in the fall, and then we send 2 Chicago students to Galway in the spring. That's kind of the idea of an exchange program, is that we expect a certain amount and we exchange one semester. Most of the courses, if not all of them actually, that you'll take there are also equivalent to UIC theater requirements. So you'll be able to cover things that you need when you're there. The semester there is roughly ours, starts in January, ends in April, but then they end with about 3 weeks of exam time. So what that means is courses end early April, and then you've got like 2 weeks of exam prep. They're serious about their exams. And then you do your exams, performances and papers and whatever else in early May. So you end roughly around the same time as we end here at UIC. Just like UIC Aeolia program, the tuition for this is paid through UIC. So it's dollar for dollar, or dollar for pound, dollar for euro, dollar for pound, same. The only extras that would involve you out of pocket are airfare and housing primarily, and then of course cost of living. Same requirements for nomination from UIC Theater to go. You need to submit an essay, but that essay comes to me instead of to Jason. Deadline is April 1st. You got that email, I believe, from Jason and Melissa. If you didn't, please let me know at the end of this conversation so we can make sure you get that information. Nomination essay requirements are the same. Due April 1st to me, and then I share them with the faculty, and we'll let you know at the end of April. GPA for both programs, or actually I think for any study abroad, GPA has to be 3.0 or above. I think it's important to reiterate that. Here are some courses that are offered. The sort of greenish blue ones are the fall courses. You would be there in the spring. So I'm just going to scroll right on down to the spring courses in orange. These are just fun to think about, especially because they are so often parallel to what we offer. So this contemporary drama course is much like our CPT. Rehearsal techniques is a scene study course, so that would match many of the required ones we have here. Applied theater here specifies an interest specifically in theater for social change, theater of the oppressed, Augusto Boal, and social justice work. Theater and practice, this is like our main stage 280, rehearse and performance of a departmental production. Irish theater, this is a history class mostly, so it's a lot of reading and lecture. Major figures from the Celtic Tiger period, which was the rich, what refers to the rich period in the early 20th to mid 20th century of Irish theater. Playwrights like Sean O'Casey, J.M. Synge, and so on. Then you can do an independent project. So this is a 400 or 4,000 level course. As you can see, this one I'm talking about now. So this is an upper level sort of independent study course. Really relies on your own self-motivation and interest to design the course. And then there are some electives you can take, other courses. There is a production practicum for those of you who have design tech interests. And there's also maybe a directing and playwriting course offered in the spring, but we'll see. So that's that. I don't think I have any more. Oh, yeah, there's their theater. And there's a link for any of you that are psyched to go just check out their webpage real quick. It's nuigalway.ie. I think that's it from me. I don't have a student with me. I thought I was going to have a student testimonial, but I wasn't able to coordinate it with the student in time. I'm so sorry. we have fewer that have attended this program than have gone to Aeolia, mostly because there are only 2 slots per semester. And then with COVID, people didn't go last year. And so blah, blah, blah. But if
Well,
any of you are interested in going, I'm happy to set you up with Jessie Granado, who went a couple of years ago. Sorry, Maggie, you were going to say
no,
something.
that's fine. I was just gonna say, I also, when I was doing preparing the stuff for Galway for like the student life portion of it, I found they actually have a podcast of student experiences on campus, and they have one episode for the drama and theater department. So that's, I linked to it on the program brochure. I'll show you guys in a second what the program brochure looks like. But yeah, I found that and I was like, oh, struck gold. So that's, we do have a student, not a UIC student, but a student experience, which will be good to hear.
That's great. Well, thank you. That's my spiel. If you want to, Maggie, chime in a little about Galway and any other
Sure.
information you'd like.
Yeah, so yeah, as Tanner was saying, it is a smaller town, but it's a college town. It is geared towards young people. It is geared towards students. So it is a very international city, despite being only, I think it was like 70,000 people or so. There were more international students that study abroad in Galway than in Dublin, I was reading, which is interesting. I saw it was named the friendliest, most charming city. I don't know if that was in Europe or Ireland or what, but I mean, it sounds good either way. And it was in 2020 was the capital of European culture. So there was a lot of events and things that happened around that. But I think it just speaks to the international experience you can have there, and the culture experience you can have there. And it pointed, even in the Galway information, not even specifically about the drama program, it talked a lot about the arts and the rich theater history that they have in Galway. So there's a huge draw to going to this smaller place, is that you get more immersed in the culture, or you have more opportunity, I would say, to get immersed. So that was really what I had for that. Housing, I also link to on our program brochure. NUIG does help provide, they don't provide housing, but they help secure housing for students. So there are services available when you are looking for housing. It looks like the dormitories and residence halls are set for academic years. So for shorter term residences, you would be looking at private residences, such as apartments. But there are, since it is such an international student location, there are a lot of services that are that cater to international students going on shorter term programs or 1 semester at a time programs. And NUIG has a great resource on their website for that. I even saw they have like a whole, I put in just dates, random dates for like a fall semester. And I saw a furnished apartment for like with shared bathrooms for like probably like 150 euros per week. So it'd be like $2,000 to $3,000 per semester. So on track with a lot of other programs. So there's definitely some options there. And then we can go into more about the application process later on. I know we have slides for that. So that's really it for about student life. But I can go into the other study abroad programs. So there are several other study abroad programs that are focused on theater. And then there's also hundreds of other study abroad programs if you're looking to do something new. So there's a couple different types of programs that we offer at UIC. One of them is called faculty directed program. This is as it sounds. It is created by UIC faculty members, provided for UIC students. They are short-term, typically during summer or academic breaks. Occasionally we'll have spring break programs available. We're looking to expand into winter break programs. These change every year. So at the moment that we do have one program that is, it's created by the College of Business, but it is improvisational theater focused as well. So that's just the one example that we have from this year, but who knows what we'll have for next semester or for next summer in terms of theater opportunities for faculty directed programs. So you'll have to stay tuned. For partnership programs, these are programs that we work with that are either study center or local university options. What that means is that for study center programs, these are study abroad organizations that we partner with Most of them are United States based, and they have locations all over the world. So these are great programs. If you don't know another language, you don't have to. You can take classes in English at any location, taught by local faculty, and be as immersed in the culture and language as you want. So you have a lot of options when it comes to that. You don't have to know the foreign language to be able to study in these locations. Then there's also local university options. So if you speak the local language, you'll be able to take courses at the local university. And there are some even American universities in different locations that have English coursework available. And then the last option is exchange. These were the two examples that we heard earlier. The Aeolia and Galway programs are exchange programs, primarily semester and academic year. Like Tanner and Jason both mentioned, these are you pay UIC tuition while you participate on these programs. And you take courses at local universities typically in the host country language, but as we saw with Aeolia, there are other options as well. Oh, and regardless of the program you do, it is UIC credit. So you're receiving UIC credit for every program that you participate in. It just depends on which program, which courses are available, and what kind of credit you can receive. So in terms of partnership programs, we already heard the two exchange programs that are geared towards theater. But for partnership programs, there are a few. There's IES Abroad London. IES Abroad is a study abroad organization in Chicago that has locations everywhere. They have a theater studies semester program in London. They have an intensive acting summer program in Dublin. We actually have one student participating in it this summer, hopefully. And then they have a semester National Theatre School of Ireland, Gaiety School of Acting program in Dublin as well. There's a CIE is another study abroad organization we work with, and they have a film studies program in Prague. And then in terms of faculty record programs, I did mention this one, but it's the Dublin Internships, Professional Presence and Improvisational Theater Abroad. This is a new program set to hopefully running this summer in Dublin, and hopefully it'll be offered next year as well.
I can confirm it will not be running this summer in Dublin,
gosh.
but next year it will be. So that's the exciting, we can start thinking about telling students about it now. So if you're interested, as soon as that opens, apply early because we had a lot of interest this term.
Absolutely.
That's great to hear.
All right, next slide. And apart from just participating in classes abroad, there's other opportunities as well. You can participate in internships, do research abroad, or participate in service learning. So for internships, these are tailored to your goals. I know we've had students participate in all different kinds of internships from every college at UIC. You can participate in English-speaking internships throughout the world, so you don't have to know the target language in most of the locations that we work in. And you will earn academic credit for all internship placements, and they are accompanied by an academic course. For research, there's undergraduate and graduate research opportunities available. You gain experience working in local labs, for example, or with international research teams. I'm not sure what labs for theater there are, but maybe you have a wide variety of interests and this would speak to you. Or you can explore an area of inquiry with an independent study project. That would definitely be an opportunity for any field of study. Service learning is a great way to engage with and give back to the local host community. You can contribute to ethical and responsible service projects. There might be an opportunity to earn academic credit depending on the program. And this is also a great way to immerse yourself in local culture. Internships, you can do in semester or summer programs. They are unpaid, but they are for academic credit. They are tailored to what you are interested in your professional or academic fields. You will be taking a seminar course alongside it to receive the academic credit for the internship. You will have staff checking in with you throughout the entire process, doing routine check-ins and career coaching. It's a huge component to the internships is the career coaching, and additional opportunities to do professional development and resources even after you participate in the program. And then it's also virtual international internships available. So if you aren't able to get away or participate in another program, but you have, time over the summer or during a semester, and you want to add an international component to your studies, this is a great way to do so. It's very accessible. So these are in collaboration with a lot of the partners that we work with, and they are tailored, obviously, still to your each individual student is going to have a different placement. They are English speaking, available in countries all over the world, and for any field that you'd be interested in. All right, and then I'll pass it to Marley for funding.
I didn't mean to cut you off. It just went
That's
really
fine.
fast all of a sudden. Well, now that you have heard about not just the theater opportunities, but all of the opportunities that of where you can go and what you can study, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how we can afford that, how we can get that organized and help you apply for funding for study abroad. So I know my colleagues have already mentioned this, but the one distinct feature about an exchange program is that you pay UIC tuition. Some exchange programs do have a program fee, so beyond the two that we're talking about, but many do not. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. And then the additional costs that you'll see for the exchanges are going to be cost of living, your housing, airfare, and personal expenses. And we actually create a cost sheet or a template for a cost sheet where you can actually build out all of those components and budget and plan for it early, even before you go abroad, so you know about it. The other thing is that all of these costs get built into your financial aid as well. So making sure that you think through what each of these components are going to cost, and we're here to help provide guidance in that, is important, because that cost sheet and that budget, which I'll show you in a moment, that you make actually gets shared with financial aid, and financial aid can look into your current financial aid package and see if there needs to be a revised cost of attendance to the amount of aid that you're already receiving. So they could potentially repackage your aid and have it be more or less based on your revised cost of attendance. So it's really important to make sure you fill that out as best as possible. And Huaca, we're very fortunate that we have a designated financial aid advisor who works with the Study Abroad office. That's her email there. Once you're accepted and nominated into the program, I recommend you reach out to her and connect to learn more about your specific financial aid and what exactly will and will not travel with you. I would say it's best to wait until after you're accepted to reach out to her. She'll have more information to assist you. And then beyond that, there are a lot of scholarships that you can apply for to supplement the cost. What a lot of students see is that the main difference in cost of attendance is the added cost of room and board and daily expenses. Galway, when you're thinking about where to go, think about where the cost of living in that location, because Barcelona is wonderful, but it is a little bit more expensive of a city than maybe Galway is. It's more of a smaller town. It's geared towards college students. Wherever you go, there are ways to make it affordable, but just thinking about location before you select a program is really important when you're doing the budgeting exercise. So the main difference you're going to see is meals and your housing expenses. But to cover that gap, we recommend students apply to scholarships, and we're fortunate where we have a lot of scholarships available for you to apply to. The first is the Study Abroad Office Scholarship Fund. That's a fund for pulled from a variety of donors and previous scholarships we had. So it's one application, you apply to that, and you're considered for an award of up to $1,000 for the semester program or summer program. We also have a new scholarship from the Office of Global Engagement, which is the John Nuveen Scholarship Fund, and that is for also up to $1,000 for semester program. Both of those are located in SNAP. And then we have UIC departmental scholarships. At the moment, we do not have a theater departmental scholarship that we're aware of. But if you are in the Honors College, there is a scholarship for Honors College students, and they offer a significant amount of funding to their students who pursue study abroad. So definitely apply for that. Then we have nationally competitive scholarships, which I'll go into more detail on. in a moment, and program partner scholarships. So if you choose to go our program partner option, a lot of our partners, the cost, everything is built into one program fee. So it might seem a little bit higher than when you're looking at an exchange program or faculty directed program. And they offer automatic discounts of anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 off the cost of the program with no application. And then they also have a whole host of their own scholarships that you can apply to via the partner. So if you're going on that specific partner, there are scholarships for that. And then in addition to that, we have certain agreements between UIC and these partners that offer funding for just UIC students who are going on, for example, an IES program. So we have a UIC IES scholarship that you can apply to as part of your post-decision tasks in the Flames Abroad portal, which Maggie will share a little bit more about. And lastly, you can always rely on community-based funding. So leveraging your network, maybe it means creating a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe or volunteering somewhere and ask, or babysitting, working a little extra. So really use your community to try to fund a little bit of your study abroad program. Oops. So this is an example of what our cost sheet looks like. This is an exchange program. So as you see here, you'll make this for each of your program. I couldn't fit the whole thing on here, but there is the $50 application fee and the $200 SAO fee. You are not responsible for paying that until you commit to the program. We also provide health insurance that you pay for, and it is really comprehensive. And so that is something that's really key, especially now in the COVID-19 era, to have really comprehensive health insurance. It covers also up to $2,000 of COVID related expenses if you do contract COVID while you're abroad. And also, in really dire situations, if there is a need for emergency evacuation, that's covered. And then all of your daily needs of, visiting a doctor, if you have any specific need, it is covered. Airfare, so that's what's going to be billed to your account. Now, this is not an exchange program budget. This is a general program budget, but what you'll also see is there'll be a line that says exchange UIC tuition. And so every student's tuition is slightly different based on if they're in-state, out-of-state, what courses they're taking, what fees. And so you would have to manually enter in that yourself, but that's going to be something that's billable on your student account. And we can help you with that if you need assistance, or you can work with financial aid to make sure you get that exact right number. Oops. And then here are the non-bill amounts. So these are extra expenses that you're going to have to pay on your own, but definitely need to be budgeted for, and your financial aid can apply to. Airfare, books and materials, housing. So usually there's a couple options. We give some estimates for you to use. Local transportation, meals, personal expenses, a visa if you don't have a passport. So this is what you'll be working for. And this is located on the finances tab of the program brochure for each program. Maggie will show you that in a moment. But before, I just want to tell you a little bit more about why you can be a scholarship recipient. First of all, we have many national and local scholarships that UIC students apply for and consistently receive funding from these scholarships. So just because you think it's a really big competitive scholarship doesn't mean that you won't receive it. All of you have unique stories that donors would like to fund so that you have the opportunity to further your education with a global perspective. Especially as theater majors, that is not a very common major that might study abroad. And so really explaining why as a theater major, it's important for you to go abroad can be the difference between getting funding and not. So I encourage you to share your story, talk about your identity, your diversity of your background, some of your long-term goals, why you selected the particular program. Maybe there's something about one of the Aeolia courses that really fascinates you and you want to explain that more. Also demonstrating that you have community involvement and you're a global citizen is important too. So like Kevin helped out by sharing the value of study abroad with this presentation, they're looking to fund students who are going to come back and support other students pursuing study abroad. So one of the main scholarships that we have, national scholarships we have, and we have anywhere from 3 to 12 students every semester from UIC receive this. Preference is actually given to students who attend a state school like UIC and also a minority serving institution like UIC. The scholarship is for Pell recipients. So if you receive the Pell Grant during the term you are going abroad or the term before, you're eligible to apply. And then the Gilman-McCain Scholarship is for students for children dependents of active duty military service members. You do not need to be a Pell Grant recipient to receive that. Again, that is the same application though as the Gilman International. Awards range from I'd say 2,000 to 5,000, depending on the duration of the program and your financial need. You are eligible to apply for a critical needs scholarship if you're studying a critical need language for an additional $3,000. This is locations like our languages such as Korean, Japanese, Russian, and there's another one that Arabic is another popular one students choose to study abroad. The application deadlines for this is usually early October. It's before our deadline, so apply early. I think it's either October 1st or 2nd. They haven't come out with that quite yet. So definitely apply. We offer one-on-one scholarship essay review, and we can share more information about that. If you're interested, we can set up an appointment and review your essay with you, and we do workshops to support you in applying for these national scholarships. The next is the First Gen Flames Abroad Scholarship. So if you are a first-year, first-generation college student, this is the scholarship for you because it's really meant to be a planning scholarship. So you receive funding early on in your undergraduate career, and you know that you have some amount of funding to use at any point throughout your undergraduate studies. The unique part about this is that it's specific for faculty directed programs or exchange programs. So the theater exchange programs are both able, students who participate on those programs are able to use these scholarships. So the amount varies depending on the duration. So if you're pursuing a semester program, you could earn or receive up to $2,600. The deadline for this is coming up quickly. So it is for April 1st. If you are eligible or if you're unsure if you're eligible, let us know. We'll talk with you about it. You should apply by April 1st so that you have this funding moving forward throughout your undergraduate career. Here's a little bit about the writing workshops that we do. We do 2 every semester. Yes, those are our scholarships. There's a lot more, and we can talk about specific ones to the program you ultimately choose. I'm also the coordinator of our scholarship, so if you have any questions, you can touch base with me as well.
Well, if you want to, yeah, Tanner, did you want to go over your application process first, and then I will very quickly touch on ours. It's pretty quick.
Actually, yes, I can do. I was going to ask you just a really quick question, but I'll save it for the questions period. I thought I'd ask a couple of questions on behalf of the whole group. The application process for going to Aeolia and to Galway, if you're a theater student interested in those exchange programs, has a nomination process that you have to go through first. We've mentioned it before. We're just reviewing it again really quickly. Before you can apply to do the program, you have to be nominated by your theater instructors. So you need to write an essay, as you see here written, an essay that unpacks why you want to go. And I thought I had more specific information about why. Oh yes, there it is. Why going there meets your interests as a student and as a theater practitioner. You need to use your research of the school to explain, to help flesh out the ideas of why you want to go to this particular place at this particular time. Both the content and the form of the essays is considered. So that means we're interested in hearing you speaking from the heart honestly about why you want to go and how you think you'll benefit from it, and the quality of the writing and grammar. Those things matter. So the more well-prepared your piece is, the more likely it is that the faculty will say, yes, this person is really ready to go abroad and represent UIC theater. So when you submit your essays, the Aeolia essays go to Jason, the Galway essays come to me. And after we receive those essays, we then share them with our colleagues, theater, your instructors, and we discuss all of the application, all the nomination essays, I should say, and then we decide who we're going to nominate. What that nomination then means is we call the study abroad office. So we call Maggie and Marley's office and we say, here are the folks we're nominating to go abroad. Please start the application and the scholarship process with them. So once you're nominated by us, you will then go to the study abroad office and they will talk you through all the paperwork for the formal application process for the two programs. That's it for me. Thank you.
All right, so I'll quickly share my screen if that's okay, Marley, to just show you how to start the application process on our end. So every program that we work on, whether you're doing the exchange program or a faculty directed or a partnership program, they all have their own brochure. This is what the Galway one looks like. It is fleshed out with information about a general overview, location, academics, finances, student life, and additional information such as any accommodations and things that you may need or things to look out for. So when you are ready to apply for the program, or once you are nominated and you are given the go-ahead to apply for the program, instead of this saying this program is not currently accepting applications, because currently we are not, there will be a blue button here that says apply now. So that is how you will start your application, and then it would have to be approved by our office for you to continue on in the process. And we would obviously check with the theater department to make sure that you were one of the nominated students. So that's all it really takes to get started, is just click apply now once you're nominated. But in the meantime, I can go over just a little bit of the brochure. Like I said, we have some information about the location, the academics. We link to the course information on the website, some information about NUIG in general. Finances, this is what Marley was showing earlier about the cost sheet. And so like you could enter in your typical tuition, and you can see the estimated amount. We build in stuff with all the meals and everything as well. Student life was the one that I wanted to point out because I did add this international student experience part. So there was a podcast episode, like I mentioned, for the student experience in the drama and theater department at NUIG. So definitely check that out if you're interested in hearing from other students. And then there's an international student experience page in general that went over a lot of different things about the student experience and the services that are available to you while you are abroad. So that's just what I wanted to touch on real quick. Oh, this is what I was looking at. This is the accommodations tab. And they had all of these other sources of accommodation when you're looking for housing. And this is the student experience page. And Meet Our Students was where I found all of the wonderful podcasts down here of the different experiences. So just wanted to point those out.
That's great, Maggie. Thank you so much. We have about 6 minutes left. I'd like to summarize a couple of things really quick and then ask one question and then open it up to anybody else. I'm happy to stay over a minute or two if we do go over. And as you know, we're recording. First of all, I just want to say to all of you students who are here, thank you for being here. I know we just gave you a lot of information and you probably are feeling a little overwhelmed. I actually am because there's so much info. What you need to take away, I think, is some energy and interest and understanding that there are lots of opportunities for you to travel, study abroad, and you know who to contact, study abroad office or me or Jason to find out what they are, and that there's money. This cannot be understated. There is money to help you go. I think we need to be honest and say that probably all of our students need help. And so I just want to say to you, you may feel like, oh my God, I can't handle all the money. Don't let that stop you from checking it out first, because there is money available. And the First Gen Flames Abroad Scholarship, shown right here on the screen, remember that deadline is coming up April 1st. Your first year, you apply now. You're not even thinking about study abroad for 2 years, but you have to apply now because you're only eligible to apply for the money as a first year student. Make sense? Question for you all, study abroad folks. Can undocumented or Dreamer Act students travel abroad?
So there is, in order to participate in an international study abroad experience, you have to be legally allowed to travel internationally. There are a lot of legal implications to consider if you are a DACA recipient or a DACA student when it comes to traveling internationally. So that is something that we highly recommend that you discuss with an immigration lawyer or someone who is experienced with international travel for DACA students. If you don't know who that is, we can help find a contact for you. It is not something that we claim to be experts in, and you would need an expert to guide you through the process. So that's what we recommend.
Thank you for being honest. I think it was important to have that information out there. Are there programs in South America or in Africa, Middle East, Southeast Asia? Not
Every single
necessarily
one of those
theater programs.
locations, we have programs.
Great, awesome.
Programs all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think that the theater programs tend to be focused in the UK, Dublin, some parts of Europe, but
English-speaking, yeah.
if you're ultimately choosing to do a direct enroll option, it's similar to if you were studying at UIC where you have all the departments in the colleges, you could find theater courses. It just wouldn't necessarily be a program focused on theater. So you can pretty much go anywhere you want. There's a program for everybody and every major. We have way too many programs, but the nice thing is we can usually find a program for the student who's looking for it.
Thank you, that's great. Maybe we can stop screen sharing and just open it up to students that are with us if there are any questions or comments, and then we'll close up. So just raise your hand, I think, and we'll call on you if anybody has anything. Hey, Jordan, please, it's all yours.
Hello, Jordan. I'm a first year, and one of my questions, I don't know if it was either discussed in the beginning, but I'm a DPT student, so like design productions. And I saw on one of the slides that like for certain programs, it was like for like acting or film. I was wondering if there's certain programs for like the design, like tech and stuff.
There is not. We have not found an exchange program that suits design or DPT students specifically yet, Jordan. So no, you're right. The answer is that most of the two exchange programs we're talking about lean toward acting. However, the Galway program is a little more broad in its scope. Unlike Aeolia, which is a conservatory acting program, the Galway program is interested in BA students of a general type. So they're often performers, they're often directors, and they're designers. And there are performance practica that you can do that would involve some design, but it's not going to be upper level design work for sure. It's not going to be 300 level courses at this time, but we're hoping to get a design exchange program someday.
Yeah, and I think that Tenor, if there's a strong interest for design programs, I would reach out to Arena and we can see what's existent in the field right now and try to find a program that would work for your design students that is pre-approved by the theater department.
That's a great idea. Or maybe one of our faculty could start a faculty-led program.
Absolutely.
What else, anybody?
Thank you.
Jordan, are you in the honors college by chance?
I am not.
Well, I was just thinking we do have it's going to run again next semester, but a propose your own program in the honors college. So if you have a friend who's already in the honors college and they want to maybe propose a program that's based on theater design, you could suggest that to them as well.
Nice.
Thank you, will do.
Anybody else? Okay, well, let's make sure folks have email information and maybe the website, Study Abroad Office website, just so they know exactly where to go to check things out. Because folks, the Study Abroad Office website is super cool because you can just kind of browse programs. You can literally go and look and just see what you can search by discipline. You can search by region, I think, right? Is that still true, Maggie? You can search by region.
Certainly true.
Yeah. So I say that because for the BFA folks who want to study abroad, it's a little harder to graduate on time as a BFA student because you have so many acting credits that you need to fulfill in 4 years. But if you're a BA student, it's going to be a lot easier for you to take a semester abroad and really go anywhere. So not necessarily a theater program. Say you wanted to do the film program in Prague or do some community engagement work in Africa, Kenya, Nigeria specifically. So just saying, you feel free to browse and dream if you like. I encourage you to do that.
Yeah, and any study abroad questions you have, we are available. Anything academic specifically to the acting, you're definitely going to go to the theater department here at UIC. However, we are willing to meet with you. We have a meet with an advisor page on our website. You can schedule an appointment with any of our advisors. Right now we're location specific, but you can really meet with anyone. Otherwise, I'm the general advisor for the office as well. You can schedule an appointment with me anytime.
Thank you so much. And thank you for putting your 2 emails in the chat, as well as study abroad office web email, looks like. And then I just put, as you can see, mine and Jason's for Aeolia. So folks, I hope you can go ahead and, before we shut down, go ahead and capture that chat if you want. I think you can do that by clicking on the 3 dots in the chat box. Save the chat for yourself so you have all that info if you like. And Marley and Maggie, when we save this, the recording, will you be able to post it up on the SAO website?
Yes, absolutely. We'll be able to post it. We'll find a home for it.
That would be great. Let us know when you do, and I can sort of email around. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you to our guests from Study Abroad.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.